Hello, my name is Dante Rene, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, with a release date of 1987 and a copyright of 1985, this is The Dark Power. That's right, 1987's The Dark Power. Look at that amazing cover art right there. I want to try to get it without the glare. Look at that monster on the top and the girl right there, and another kind of skull monster on the side right there. I mean, man, and it's like comic booky, spooky horror, and the menu screen for this DVD from VCI takes this cover art and does some very, very atmospheric comic book type 80s horror type lighting in the mix, neon lighting in the mix. It's also reflected in various portions of the film itself. This is the back of the DVD. Got an image right there and an image right there. This is actually put out by VCI Entertainment. And VCI Entertainment is a company that puts out a good number of like low budget films, low budget horror films in particular, like The Dark Power, and they put out some pretty unknown stuff too as well, like The Dark Power. Now, The Dark Power is a film that it says the tagline on the front is "Your appointment with fear." Yes, your appointment with fear. And actually, the artwork for this sexy girl right here, the girl is in the film, actually. So, very, very cool. This film stars a rather interesting person by the name of Lash LaRue. Lash LaRue. There's his name right there. Lash LaRue, the king of the bullwhip. He was a legendary B-Western film star called the King of the Bullwhip. Yes, he was just a B Western movie star who was very skilled with the whip. Yes, in this film. So let's look at The Dark Power from 1987, copyright of 1985. Interesting, about 2 years till it got released. And this is a very, very unknown film, and it's a film that I encountered some years back, and I believe this is the only way to get the movie is from VCI Entertainment. And I bought this pretty damn cheap on Amazon I would say about 6, 7 years ago, something like that. And it was really, really cheap. I don't know if it's still in print. I believe it is, but I bought it off Amazon. So let's look at it. The Dark Power. The Dark Power is a movie, very interesting how it utilizes different genres as we are utilizing the King of the Bullwhip in an 80s horror film. You're already seeing some genres being mixed here, but essentially what we have here is we have Native American mythology and legends mixing with a southern atmosphere, as this movie, I believe, takes place in North Carolina, and you can really feel that and sense that. Mixed with a monster movie, mixed with a slasher, kind of a teen slasher, college slasher type film, mixed with some kind of teen comedy, teen sex comedy type of vibe as well. So it's a very, very interesting mashup of a film. We have this Native American mythology tying itself to kind of the whole world and the evil in the world and darkness and light and a home that is available. And these college kids move in while they're in college, and they encounter the reality of the mythology. And at the same time, we also have a man kind of on the sidelines, a park ranger, a government worker of sorts, Lash LaRue, and his interactions with the Native American mythology and with nature itself. This is The Dark Power. So first and foremost, I want to look at the music for the film, because when you look at the title credits for the movie, we have some people that are doing the compositions, the score compositions for the film. You see some people's names there, and much like a teen sex comedy, we have homegrown type music here, also regular soundtrack music that you can see in the closing credits that were done by some people that were related to each other. It looks like they have the same last name, and also just a group of people that they probably knew or worked on the movie or from the local area. So we do have some kind of rock music in the film, a couple pieces at a party scene later on in the film, but predominantly this is a film of score. And we have a lot, as there are different genres, mashups happening in this horror film. We also have some mashups within the score and within the music for the Dark Power. We have some 80s dark late night sleepover vibe synths, some 80s synthesizer type of vibes, but we also have some type of tribal type music. We also have music that almost verges on jazz, really predominantly near the beginning of the film, but almost as if there's like pieces of a jazz song, like it just kind of stops as if, and you can almost hear it in your head where it could go as a jazz composition. Um, we also have some very dramatic, almost music that you might hear in a Western film, music that you might hear in kind of a Cowboys and Indians film, or kind of a film dealing, with Native American mythology. You kind of have that type of, it almost sounded a bit late 70s. Western drama on television in the afternoon. It had that type of music as well. We also had some very interesting low level dark 80s synth as well, but some very interesting um, goofy comical little stings like like these, and there was definitely like almost a humorous vibe to some pieces of the score as well. So you mix all of these things together and you have a good representation of the mixing that's going on in the film itself. Now stylistically, cinematography, the movie, we have we have one interesting room in the house in this film that looks like um, kind of the comic book atmosphere of Creepshow 2 and even Creepshow 1 a bit, but predominantly the first Native American story of Creepshow 2. Weird enough to say, since we deal with some Native American mythology in this film and monsters resurrected. So some interesting kind of neon comic book lighting that you can see in the title screen for this film in one particular room with a pool table. And we also have some kind of point of view shots of animals in this film um, that were very interesting. And we also have as a main location for the film is this house. And this house, I just felt this house. This house was so cool. Real 80s house. An awesome basement that's fully carpeted with the pool table, as I mentioned, posters on the walls that are definitely breaking copyrights probably. I saw Elvira, I saw um, The Pretenders, and I even saw Young Frankenstein with Gene Wilder and stuff. Um, but it looks like a house that college kids could be living in. It looks like a fun time. We have this great bathroom with this awesome kind of elaborate, nice bathtub. Probably it was like a jacuzzi bathtub or something. Um, so this location, this house, and the different rooms, it just really, you feel it. You feel the college vibe. You feel the 80s vibe. And the house really does look like it's in the middle of nowhere because it's desolate on top of a hill. Great location. Next to a body of water with a freaking boat in the body of water that reminded me of the boat for the tours in New Orleans for the first Hatchet film, if you saw that. And so, like a tour boat almost. It was even like in the film Rogue by the guy that did Wolf Creek. I'm blanking on his name right now. But it's kind of like a tour boat near the body of water near the house. The house has this desolate environment. And also, as I stated earlier in this video, the environment for this film is definitely southern. And it even says that at the beginning of the film. It doesn't tell you the exact state. It just says southeastern United States, I believe. And it just has a southern feel. Like when I review teen sex comedies that take place in the South, like Computer Beach Party and stuff like that. And there's really no mistaking. For some reason, there's no mistaking when you're watching a film from the South. There's no mistaking. And you can just feel it. It's not just Southern accents, because not all the time does everybody have a Southern accent in this film. You can just kind of, there's something in the atmosphere. There's something in the people. There's something in the way the movie's made. Um, Now, interestingly enough, yes, we do have some whip action from Lash LaRue, this older gentleman with a level of sophistication to him inside of this low budget 80s, um, not as sophisticated horror film. Now, we also have, um, while this is a low budget film, and you have some kind of dramatic dialogue, that low budget, awesome dialogue, especially near the beginning of the film, then all of a sudden you get Sucker Punch with some pretty violent, gory special effects that kind of work in the low lighting, in the darkness of the night, kind of taking place all within the night of evil. We have some pretty brutal, gory sequences in the low budget realm that worked, I thought, pretty well. For the creatures, I will say, some of them actually looked pretty freaking scary, even though there was also an element of humor mixing in here. You kind of have this clash of humor, of comedy horror mixing with kind of brutal, disturbing, dark horror, and reflected in this one creature's face, the first one that you see in the film. Actually, his face really freaks me out. And there's another one that has like white hair. He almost reminded me of one of the guys in the Wrong Turn series a little bit. The guy with the white hair and the two axes. And so there's that clash up. We also have some pretty wild racist dialogue in the film, some racist characters with a Confederate flag, even back in the late 80s. It was very interesting to hear some of the racial dialogue between this black girl and these two white people in particular. So it's very, very interesting. And some there's fart humor. There's a 9-year-old boy that wants to drive a car, and he does. There's a lot of fat jokes, and there's a level of sexuality to the film that you can see in the girl on the cover right here, a girl who likes to aerobicize in her panties and in a halter top in the film, who has a great look to her also. And we even have some topless nudity of a girl, and I think maybe a little bit of side butt, maybe too, of a girl taking a bath with two Budweisers after working out. So this is the Dark Power. You're getting that. You're getting that late night, a bunch of college kids in a house, creature, monster movie, gore, violence, but a man with a whip and Native American mythology and Native American like elements. And at times I almost felt like an Evil Dead vibe too in here. So really crazy stuff. This is never really seen anything like this before. This is by Phil Smoot, and here it is, folks. 1987's The Dark Power, put out by VCI Entertainment DVD. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I'm talking about these films that I believe need to be talked about more. Thank you so much, and good night.